Welcome back, and we'll continue from where we left. And this is part 2 of number 5, tower leg splice connection. So this is part 2 of tower leg L splice connection, part 2. Now we left here, and we used L splice connection, numerically known as 172. And I want to create a connection between these two components. So if I click on that, I'll be able to see that. Now I've made settings, and I'm going to just to display the settings that I had created so that you see and apply on your own. Now I've double click on that symbol of connection, and that will display the settings we had used. You can see the gap and the 0 gap there. If I come to parts there, so under parts, I went to part 1. We see 1 and 2. These are these plates you see at the back of the L shaped. So you come here and click on that button there. So that will take you to profile catalog on where you'll be able to get the plate itself, and then from there you'll be able to enter the exact measurements of your plate. So you can see these, I chose that, and I gave that prefix to that, and that's all about that. Then the moment you key in, it will be reflected here. So once you've done one, you just copy the other and paste it on the other. Now once that has reflected, I came to bolt here. I've just come to bolt here and readjusted all these to the settings you're seeing the screen here. I think you can copy that and apply on your project. So again, if I go to parts, now on the parts here, you can see I had given an offset of plate 1 and 2, an offset from its original going backward to 0. If I put it to 0, you'll be able to see. It goes back to that location. Or if I give them two options, an offset of 2, like that, and if I click that, you'll be able to see they are keeping off from the exact corner on the L shape. So let's change it to just one for each, an offset of 1 from the back, and click modify. So that gap is okay. Now we have also options of chamfering or adding more details to these plates here. So if I come to plate 1, I can chamfer all the corners by just checking all this. So if I check all this and click modify, you'll be able to see all the chamfers has been done on the other side of the plate. If I come to this side also and check all this, you'll be able to see all the chamfers being applied here. But the chamfers are not necessary for the corners for these plates. So we'll just leave it as it is. Now if I go ahead and click modify, and we'll go back to where we were. Now that's a side, and I hope you've seen the details we had made here. General, I just left it as it is. Analysis, just left it as it is. Now I'll go to the next on the next splice, and since they are the same, I just click and go, and you can see the connections are being created. So if I click on that, I'll be able to create a splice connection like that, and just hold your middle button and move your mouse, and you'll be able to move to exact location where you intend to create connections or splice connection. So we are here. Let me just finalize with this, and finalize with that, and also select on this and that, zoom out, and I'll select this and that, and the connection will be created, and selecting this on that. So these member profiles are the same, so there's no need of modifying further our splice connection. So let me just go continue placing these splice connections until you get to the top end where things tend to now change. Now our connection will tend to take a different turn. So this is because of one member is inclined, and the other is straight. So what we want to do here is just to create our own splice connection and create bolts in the same location. So we'll use the available. We'll use the existing then apply it on the other side, and apply it here, just on the same connection. So I'm going to select, then right click and come to explode. So I'm going to explode that connection. So once I have exploded the connection, I'm going here, let me just turn this round like that. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to turn this. Let me just select it. I'm going to rotate this. Let me just pick one part as a rotation point here. So between these 2 points, I want to create a rotation point. So pick a rotation point. I'll come to points here, then pick that section and that section here. So I'll have my rotation point right there. So I want to rotate this. Let me just select on it. So once I've selected it, I'll come to move right here and pick rotate. And it will not rotate because I have to create 2 points here. Since we have one in place, I'm just right click and I want to copy it upward. But copying upward is dependent on the current XYZ plane. So I have to reset it back to its original or to global position. So I'll come to view. So under view, I'll pick work plane, then click parallel to XYZ plane, click on that, then click change. So that will set it back to its original location, as you can see in here. So I'll go ahead and select that point, right click and come to spatial copy and come to linear. So under linear, I'm going to clear everything and reset that and take that to maybe 100, just 2 points that we need. So that I think is okay, but it's okay. It is okay. However far it has gone. Now I'm going to select this, right click and come to spatial move and pick rotate. So I want to rotate it about this point. I want to rotate this plate about that point. So first of all, let me define that as line, and I want to rotate that at 90. And let me just define that, and you can see that has responded. It hasn't responded. Everything is not connected. So I'll come here, right click and come to spatial move and pick rotate. So once I'm in rotate, I'm going to instruct this to rotate about line at an angle of 90. So my rotation points will be on that spot and that spot. So you can see that adjusts to this rotation point. So if I try and move, you'll be able to see it has moved. It has moved, but not to the exact location I intended it to be on. So I can still see the location of other points here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to probably delete the existing, or just leave the existing and rotate this one to the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just select on this. Once I've selected on this, I'm going to come here and pick it from this location here. Let me just pick it from that location and bring it somewhere there. So once I brought it there, it's slightly out of that plane, but not fully. But let's work it out accurately. Let me just select on it and try move it. Let me just try move it slightly. So I'll have to check which axis is it falling. Select it once again and come to move. So under move here, I'm going to come to y-axis and just key 1 here and prefix it with a negative sign because I want to move it in the opposite direction, y. So if I click move, it has moved way out of our target. So let's try 0.1. So that's okay. It has moved accurately. So let me come to navigate and pick my rotation point right there. Rotation point hasn't been picked accurately, so that's why you see it has disappeared from our vision. So let me just come to navigate and pick my rotation point until you see that circle, means rotation point is okay. Now I want to rotate this once again at 90. So I'm going to select it, right click and come to spatial move and pick rotate. So this time round, I'm going to define my rotation point and give it to that. Then prefix this dimension with a negative sign like that and click move. So I've moved that. So once I've moved that, I want to take it on this direction since we had this one in place. So we just copy it on this and we want to copy that on the other direction. And now I'll pick this, right click and come to spatial move and pick it from that spot and move it from this spot, move it to that spot. So once that has been moved, I'm going to use I'm going to move it in the direction of X. click on it, right click and come to special move and pick linear. So in here, I'm going to key in the dimension that will enable us move backward accurately. So on the x-axis, on x-plane, x-axis, I'm going to key in maybe 0.1 so that our movement should be accurate. So just click repeatedly until you see that slightly out of that is not clashing anymore. So let me just again come to navigate and turn that round. So we need an offset slightly away from it by 1 millimeter. So I'll select it, right click and come to special move and pick on linear. So this time on the y-axis, I'm going to key in just one. Let me just key one right there and click move. So we have moved by 1 millimeter. So that's okay. So in here we have all these in place, but we are lacking some bolts. We are lacking some bolts here. So how do we move those bolts? These bolts I'm talking about are these ones. So I'll be able to move them probably by just check on them, just double click on them. Once I've done so, I'm going to probably, you can see that on that list that is slightly far away from the target. So let me just right click and come to special move and try move them the direction that I think it will favor our connection. So that is off. That is off. So let me just first of all, let me just correct these dimensions here. Let me just come to navigate. Once I've come to navigate here, I'm going to select the bolts, right click and come to bolts parts. So I'm going to pick this, that component and that component, and press my middle button on the mouse. If I come to navigate, you'll be able to see now the bolts have been created perfectly well, and that's exactly what you wanted. So if you come here also, I'll select the bolts, right click and come to bolts, pick the parts I want to bolt together and pick the other one, then press my middle button on the mouse and the bolts have been created right there. So you can see even here we have the bolts this plate is not bolted to the other side. That's why you see the part is not sitting well with the other part. So then right click, select and right click and come to bolts, then I pick the parts I want to bolt together like that, and the other one and that one. I press my middle button on the mouse. So you see that has been bolted. So the part that is remaining is now to bring this on the other side. So how is that coming to the side is another thing to discuss on the next part of our topic. So let's preserve that for our next topic, and let's meet then. And I hope you've conceived or you've gotten something, and you'll be able to apply on the same project. Now let's meet then. Don't forget to save your project like that.